Today we'll do some examples of how to calculate the area of a circle, a semicircle, and also a quarter circle. So basically a full circle and part circles. Okay, as we know, so let's write down the formula to find area of a circle is equal to pi r squared, where the pi is the irrational number that we use, and that's just directly from the calculator. You can use the pi value from the calculator. Some places you will see that pi is, you'd be told that you can use pi as 22/7 or 3.14. If you are told to use that, then you can, but otherwise you can just use the pi button directly from the calculator. Okay, and r is the radius. So the r stands for the radius, which is half of the diameter, as we have learned before. So the radius is half of the diameter, so half of that and half of that. And the pi is just from the calculator. So let's do our first example. First example, it's a full circle. So very simply, we just substitute. So we start off with writing our formula. Always follow the step-by-step process, which is pi multiplied by, now if you have a look over there, and you can, it's good to write it down. It's good to write down what you know. So that we know that the diameter is 10 centimeters. So therefore our radius would be half of that, which is diameter divided by 2. That gives me 5 centimeters. So if you state that, that's a good idea as well, because then you know you are showing what you know or what you have identified, and also you don't make a mistake and use 10 instead of 5. So our radius becomes 5, so that is 5 squared, which means it's pi times 25. All you do is just slot that in your calculator, and you would get something around 78.54. Now this is rounded to 2 decimal places because it's not exact. I've put these 2 dots over our equal sign. And the unit was centimeters because it's area, it's square centimeters. And since I have rounded to 2 decimal places, we write down 2 dp in brackets. All right, now let's look at the second example. Second example is where now, as you can see, we have half a circle. So not a full circle, half a circle. Okay, so basically all we do is we take the area formula, which is pi r squared. Because it's half a circle, we divide that by 2. Okay, now if you have a look again, you're given the diameter, so write that down. Write down that you're given the diameter, which is 14 meters. So therefore your radius would be half of that, which is 7 meters. Okay, all we do now is just we substitute, so pi times the radius is 7 squared divided by 2. And if you slot all of that in the calculator, you would get something like 76.97. Again, I've rounded it to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to, the unit was meter, so it becomes square meters. And that is rounded to 2 decimal places. So we'll just round off to 2 decimal places, and that's an approximate value. Okay, now the last one. If you have a look, the last one is a quarter of a circle. So what that means is all we need to do is we take our area formula. So A is equal to pi r squared divided by 4. So all we do is we take our area formula, which is pi r squared, because it's a quarter of a circle, so we divide it by 4. Now, if you'd notice, in this diagram, you are given the radius. So because the radius is given, you don't have to evaluate what the radius is because the radius is given. So therefore, all you do is you just substitute that into your formula. So let's do that, which is pi times our radius is 3 squared divided by 4. You can just put all of that in the calculator, or you can simplify further and say 3 squared is 9, and then divide by 4. Either or is okay. And if you find out on the calculator, you get something around 7.07 to 2 decimal places. The unit is millimeters, so square millimeters, and we write down 2 dp in brackets. Okay, so these are your 3 examples of how to find area of a circle when you have a full circle, half a circle, or quarter of a circle.